Hello and welcome to episode 120 of the Crochet Cakes podcast. Does it spark joy? Hello my lovely crafty friends. I hope that you are doing well and that you've had a lovely couple of weeks in which you've been able to do the things that you love, even if it's just 5 minutes that you took to make yourself a cup of tea. Those are some very necessary 5 minutes, let me tell you. So I have to admit that for the last couple of days, I have no idea what's been going on in the world. I haven't opened my social media accounts, I haven't checked the news, I haven't even checked my email. So if you've been trying to reach me, I do apologize, but I checked the email this morning and I didn't really see that anyone had written with any questions, queries, or concerns. So I think we're all good on that front. However, I would like to take this moment to please ask you what's been going on in your world, in your crafty circle, in your just circle, your sphere of what you're aware. Good news only, please. I just want to spread some joy, not only the art of crochet, but also the joy that all crafty things bring to us, right? So yeah, what's been going on in your crafty sphere? Have you joined any new knitting groups or crochet groups? Have you found new accounts to follow that just inspire you? They don't have to be knitting or crochet or even crafting related. Maybe it's baking, although I guess baking is a craft. How has social media sparked joy with you today or this last week? Myself, I was at a knitting retreat. I was at the first Floxy knitting retreat. I taught a course on crochet edgings for knits, and I also did a demonstration on freeform crochet. I was very nervous for both of them because I just happen to have a phobia of public speaking. When I was little, it was very bad. I used to hide under tables or desks or anything that would protect me from prying eyes. I was very uncomfortable with receiving compliments and just in general voicing anything. Needless to say, oratory was not my forte and I still struggle with it, honestly. I like the advantage that the podcast is recorded so that you can get a little slice of me, but a little bit edited so that it tones down the rambly and crazy aspect that tends to be me, my life. I'm just basically a chaotic individual. But please let me know what things have sparked joy with your life lately. And yes, this is a reference to the Marie Kondo book because I have been reading it. And let me tell you, it really is life-changing. I think even if you don't necessarily apply all her aspects of tidying, it still is very life-changing to be aware of these things. At least I think so anyway. But that, again, later on in the podcast, because we are here to talk about things that spark joy. And I'm saying this because in the last podcast episode 119, which I will put right here, we were talking about crochet thrift flips. And so many of you commented that you thought it was very interesting and that you wouldn't mind seeing the crochet thrift flip. Wow, say that fast. Thrift flip, thrift flip, thrift flip. That you wouldn't mind seeing a crochet thrift flip as a episode or as a segment in the podcast. So I don't have another thrift flip for you today. I am wearing one and we will get to that right now. Well, I'll put a picture in right now because I am wearing the pinafore that I thrift flipped in episode 119. I'm also wearing a cheeky finished object, which, yeah, let's talk about that. So this is the ladyfinger sweater. Hindsight 2020, probably should have worn a different outfit so that you could see the sweater in its entirety, but I will insert pictures here and also the reel that I posted today, Monday, May the 2nd. I need to call my grandmother, it's her birthday. So yeah, I'll put that here so you can see kind of the fit. It is oversized. Well, I guess people wouldn't describe it as oversized, but it is about 4 inches bigger than my chest or my circumference, which I'm okay for the chest area. I think it fits really nicely there, but I feel I should have done some waist shaping to bring in the waist just a little bit, or even maybe switch to 3.6 75mm knitting needles, because that would have tucked in the waist a little bit and would have been much more my style. I still really like it. The colors are absolutely fantastic. They worked so well together, and I am using a cotton acrylic blend. That's the white. It is from, oh my god, who's it from? I don't know, I'll put the details below. And then this tealy, greeny, variegated yarn is from Fully Spun. I don't know if they still hand dye, but it was something that I received in a Knit Crate box a long time ago. I had, by the way, this whole sweater, 206 grams of yarn for the whole thing. It was eye-opening. Needless to say, I still have leftover of the white and of the tealy green, because it's all of it, 200. It's not that I used 200 grams of the white and 200 grams of the blue. No. The whole sweater was 206 grams of yarn. So I only used 3 colors for this. I used a Bernat Softy Baby Cotton for the top. This is the Granny Smith green. And then for the bottom ribbing, I also used that same yarn. I didn't for the sleeves, as you can see. This is one thing I don't necessarily like about the pattern. The sleeves are very, very wide. I think I could have done some decreases there to kind of tuck it in just a little bit so that they didn't feel so wide. But that's personal preference, you know. It just, if I don't look at it, it doesn't bother me, honestly. It feels comfortable, it has movement, I don't feel tugged or tight in it. It's really, really a lovely make, if I do say so myself. The pattern was very easy to follow. This was my first colorwork sweater. The only comment that I have is that there was only one picture of the finished item, and she had her arms crossed over it like this. So, sorry, kick the camera. Like this, so you couldn't really see how it was fitting her either. And I would have appreciated some more pictures of the finished item, how it looked from the back, for example. Things I learned with this, like I said, it was my first color work in knitting. And I learned German short rows, or at least I executed the German short rows, because if you ask me to say it from memory, I have no idea. I would not be able to replicate it. I would need to find a YouTube video again, but at least I wouldn't be afraid of the German short rows. And incidentally, this is also my first circular yoke sweater in knitting. I've never done one in crochet either. I've done raglan in crochet, but I don't think I've done circular. So it was a fun make. I dedicated over a month, maybe a month and 2 days to this make until I finally finished it. And like I said, I really, really like it. The sweater falls a little bit below, I think it's waist length. I would say it falls right on my waist. And how many times can I say that it's comfortable? Because it really is very comfortable, and it is a great way to use stash. I should also point out that I did not use the recommended yarn. It called for DK weight yarn, and I used sport weight yarn. The teal is a kind of true sport weight, and what I mean by that is that it is between a fingering and a DK. It's not closer to a DK or closer to a fingering. The white is a light DK. It's not really quite a sport, and like I said, it's a cotton, so it does feel thicker than the variegated green and blue yarn, which is wool, 100% wool. Oh, and before I forget, I did make a size 2. I am planning on actually uploading this to Ravelry. If you use Ravelry, I use Ravelry in dark mode and have had no problems with it. So I'm going to be uploading the details of this sweater there. So if you do want to check that out, then look for me on Ravelry. So that is the finished object. The new one anyway, and it's a knit finished object. The other finished object that I've been wearing, of course, is the pinafore that you guys saw in the previous video. It It's so comfortable. I kind of just want to go out and rescue all the pinafores that I find now. I really am very comfortable in this, and it's jeans. The only really sad part is that I was going to pair it with my clogs, my Loda from Stockholm clogs. And I can't find them anywhere in the house, and I mean anywhere. Shoes were found in the winter clothes chest. And speaking of things that spark joy, I have a question to pose to you. What do you do with the crochet items or handmade items that no longer speak to you because of style, because of fashion changes, or because of color choices? What do you do? I try to rip back the yarns and blend them with another yarn that I actually like, and just try and make something that maybe I won't necessarily wear, but I will use. So a blanket, a cushion, something like that. But sometimes there is that one weird item that I cannot frog. No matter how much I try, no matter how much I cut, no matter where I pick, I cannot frog it. And that is the case with this. I don't know if you would recognize it, but this is a quartz top that I made in the very beginnings of this podcast. I think when I celebrated my first podiversary, so it would have been 2017. And yeah, it was a lovely top. It just wasn't my style because I thought it was too low cut, and I didn't really like the sleeves. They were still too tight on me, and they didn't fit well around the arms. So my original plan was simply to rip back the join of the sleeves and then keep it as a nice little summer tank top by just taking a very sheer linen and sewing that inside to cover a little bit the cleavage. As you can tell, I never managed to rip back anything. I cannot find the ends of this thing anywhere. I don't know what the Clarissa of the past did with it. So, if you've ever encountered this problem, how have you dealt with it? And yeah, share that knowledge with me, please, because if not, this is straight going in the trash. This is a bamboo yarn, so I think I'd have to look up if it's biodegradable, but I'm hoping it is because it is a natural fiber. I know that the process is more like viscose from bamboo, but I'm hoping that's biodegradable. Because I've been trying to rip this back for a year. Every month or so I'll pick it up and try and find an end, and if not, I'll cut and see if that leads me to an end. No, none of it. None of it has been helpful. So this is not sparking joy, but honestly, it was pretty easy to just know that I wanted to discard this one because of the cut of it. So I kind of want to make another one just so that I can do the changes that I wanted to change and wear it, because it was a lovely design. That one was by Mermaid Cat Designs on Etsy. I think she has her own website now too. And the other thing is a thrift flip. I haven't even started it, but I have this shirt that sparks joy. It really does. I love the color. I love the very, very 50s cut of it. This ruffled peasant type blouse, and then it has a zipper in the back. And the fabric is stretchy enough that it still fits, even though it's an extra small. So the problem with this one is here. This elastic is so tight that it cuts into my arm, and I really can't wear it. And then I saw Rachel Maxey make these sleeves. And there is another knitter that also made these sleeves. And I thought, let's make those sleeves. So my plan is to cut this elastic and attach crochet to it, directly to it. To just cut the elastic. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with more of a set-in sleeve, so a sleeve that will start from the bottom and then start decreasing until you get that little reverse U shape that you see in sewing patterns. I do want it to be very big so you can get that poof. And I was going to see if I had any, or I found any sewing patterns at a thrift store that had that sleeve, so I can just imitate that sleeve with my crochet. I did find ways to create poofy sleeves from already established patterns and how to grade it and that, but that was a lot of work and I'm feeling extra lazy, so But I do want to get started on that, and now that I've handed in my commissions, I should really also focus on new commissions so that I can keep my business going and make money, because it's a business. You need money. Also, groceries. You need money for groceries. So other things, those are the main things that I had to share with you in terms of what has been sparking joy, ideas that have sparked joy, and definitely finding new ways to use items that are already in my wardrobe. That's joy right there. It really does make me very happy when I can look at something and say, well, I would wear it if this, and then just ask myself, well, why haven't you done that? So it can be a slippery slope, because then you won't want to get rid of things just because you say, well, I can alter it. But when does one really have the time to dedicate to something? Which is why I'm excited for the sleeves, because I think I can get those done relatively easy. I won't say quickly, because that's just not the idea, is it? But relatively easy. So what else have I been up to? Well, I've been crocheting a panel for the summer fan top, which is, you can see that little piece of it there. This is, just pulled out my stitches. This is for the second version of the summer fan top. Yes, it is in a very, very bright neon orange. I think I'm about ready to start my increases for the bust and for the open fan stitch pattern, which is why I haven't worked on it, because I don't know if you know, but for most of my patterns, I do like a little masterclass tutorial, and I'll walk you through the steps that are the trickiest to achieve the pattern shape that you want, or just to understand the stitch and why I'm working something a certain way. So I do videos for that. Those are only included in the paid versions of the pattern. The free version is up on my blog for the summer fan top, by the way. Not this second version, or actually I should say version 3. So I should really get back on that, because it's summer. And another thing is that whilst, I don't know if you guys remember that I was working on a crochet version of the Lady Fingers sweater, which is what I'm wearing. I abandoned that, and I abandoned it fully. I frogged it all back. But I also got an idea for a design just by looking at the yarns and frogging back, so that's not a complete loss in my book. What we have up till now is a very tiny thing. I've literally just cast on and started doing some short row shaping. So it is very, very small. But I am using a 100% cotton yarn from Drops. I think this is Drops Saffron. Yeah. And it's a tealy color, 4mm crochet hook, and I will combine it with the sport weight wool. I think they look really nice together. This brightens up the darkness of the yarn, which makes it very summer or Easter appropriate, but I'm going with summer appropriate. So I want to sit down and write what I'm doing step by step, and then get started on the pattern. Actually writing the pattern. Speaking of patterns, I've handed in 2 commissions. One of them is for the IDP showcase from We Crochet, and that one is coming out on Tuesday, the 3rd of May, so tomorrow. I don't know when I'll be uploading this podcast. I'm recording a little bit earlier than usual, but that is because my in-laws are visiting this week, and I did not want to record a podcast with them in the house, so I am just doing it earlier. And also, it's not that I dislike Mondays, but I always feel lost on Mondays, so actually recording a podcast is something I thoroughly enjoy. Like, creating video content on a Monday to me is fabulous, because it lets me explore a different aspect of creativity, right? Because yes, I made this make, but how do I tell people a story of this make? So yeah, I do enjoy that. I enjoy creating content on Mondays. Oh, do you know what else has sparked joy, immediate joy? Like, I got it today in the mail. It is the April knit crate. Now, we're May, but they were very behind getting the yarns because of problems with their mill in South America. But I got it today in the mail, and for those of you that don't know, I designed a pattern for Knit Crate for April, and I shared this pattern with you previously. I think I shared pictures because I had already sent these socks in. So what do you get in the crate? You get a lovely kind of postcard thing that says the theme of the month, and then you get the codes for where to download it, which of course I'm covering up, and you also get a code for Double Down, because when you subscribe to Knit Crate, not only do you get a very good crate, very decently priced, but you also get to go to their member central only marketplace, where you will find the yarns at a discounted price, and then they do Double Down sales, which is you'll get an additional 30% off whatever is in the member central shop at that time, yarn wise anyway. So this is another sock I finished. I managed to make 3 socks with 100 grams of yarn. This is the Underglass socks. These are the pattern that I've made, and I absolutely love it. It is a pooling yarn. It was created that way intentionally, and I've loved the way it's just pooled around the sock. I think it adds to the design, and I'm very proud of myself for just having a design that works so well. At least I think so, with the pooling. This pattern is only available through Knit Crate. I sold the rights to this pattern. This pattern will not be in my shop or my website, so if you are interested in it, you have to purchase it from Knit Crate directly or have subscribed to their April box. I understand that some of you have had bad experiences with them in the past, which I honestly find very sad, because well, for myself, I've never really had a bad experience with them, but I also really like the yarns that they produce, and I'm sad that not everybody gets to try them. But, you know. Oh, and for April, you also get a little pen with the touch thingy at the bottom. Now, the hilarious thing is that this was the sock I designed in the original yarn, Saltillo, and I was waiting for the other hang to come in so that I could get a pair of socks. And they sent me the other color, which I understand. I already had this color, right? So they very kindly sent me the other color, which is a teal. So now I'm gonna have a pair of mismatched socks, which honestly, I don't mind. But I will say, my husband saw this yarn, he's like, I would wear a pair of socks in that color. So I will play around with the yarn to be able to make a mismatched sock for myself and also a pair of socks for my husband. I think I might try making slip-ons, because he does use those a lot. He also said if I would crochet him a pair of pants in these colors, he would wear them. He's so cute. 100 grams is not enough for a pair of pants. Or, why do we a pair of pants? Whatever. English. Confusing sometimes. So that is another thing that really sparked joy, and I'm very happy to add to my stash, but it's because it has immediate use. And speaking of adding things to my stash, I have been considering a destash because I've bought things in colors that I don't really enjoy anymore. It's not that they don't spark joy, but I keep them because of the memories and not because I think I'll actually use the yarn. So I'm going to be sharing with you, and I'll tell you the prices that I'm thinking of selling them at. So if you are interested, send me an email and we can discuss shipping rates and all that through email. So one of the ones that I'm thinking, I bought this, the one that I have for today is one that I bought for my husband to make him a sweater. It is a really soft cotton alpaca blend. I actually really like it. I just find that the color is a little bit too dark for me, and also, sorry, I had to turn the camera off and turn it on again. So I just find that the color is a little bit too dark for me. Now that the light is hitting it here, it's showing up true to color. This has like a gradient of light gray, like a charcoal gray, and then something a little darker and teal. So it's got all those undertones. It is really soft, honestly. 70% cotton, 19% wool, and 11% alpaca. I really like the blend. I just wish it was in a different color for me. This is Lana Grossa Gomito Lopuno. And I have 3 of these cakes. One of them is already started, but it's complete. Like, I haven't cut, I haven't actually used it. It's here. You can frog it back, and this is 2. The third one is also in the closet. So I have 3 of these, and they are cakes of 150 grams. So they have approximately 570 meters of yarn, and they use a size 4 needle. That's what it says here. So yeah, if these colors, oh, there we go. Oh, it really is nice. And it really feels so beautiful. I want to get more in a different color scheme because it's so soft. My husband unfortunately found it itchy, but I don't, and I think I'm very sensitive. It is a cloud. It is a beautiful, beautiful cloud. Yeah, so this yarn used to go for $17.99. I have 3 cakes. They're 150 grams each. Like I said, it's 570 meters, and it's really soft yarn. I'm asking for $36 for all 3, so that's about $12 each, which I think is a really great deal. You have more than 300 grams of yarn, so hopefully these will find a good home. I just, like I said, I bought them for my husband, and he wouldn't like that, and he didn't really like the feel of it, but I think it's really soft, and I hope it finds a good home. So if you would like this, send me an email. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to limit this to the US because postal prices are going up. So because of shipping and weight, I'll be limiting this sale to the US. So if you're interested, comment down below and then send me an email where we will talk shipping rates and all that. We can weigh that for you and just calculate how much it'll be through USPS. So that is it for what I've been up to. As you guys know, I did a little thing at Floxy. I taught a freeform crochet, well, I didn't teach, it was a demo. It was a freeform crochet demo, and I called it painting with wool or painting with yarn because that is essentially what it is. And the last thing I wanted to share with you was something that Mom gifted me. I believe she shared this in her podcast, but now it's mine, and it's my little paws. And it is this piece. Yeah, this is a gourd. It is a fairy house, and with her little garden, and it's done in freeform crochet with the scrumbles. Oops, it's not attached yet because I haven't formally decided on a background for it, but I am very much in love with this piece, and I like the idea of just not having a pattern and working to fill in a space that you've printed out, and you can compare your scrumbles and just kind of have it be like a little jigsaw puzzle or painting by numbers, but in this case painting with yarn. So that is the approach that I took for freeform crochet, and I am tempted to pick a painting or pick an illustration that I like and do it in freeform and attach it to a jacket. I think that'll be so much fun. And also an easier, I don't know if it's an easier way, but it's also a way of doing a Rhinebeck sweater. If you go to Rhinebeck, I would love to go to Rhinebeck. Probably should start planning for that now if I do want to go, right? Because it's always in October. Feelings. Other than crochet and commissions, which have been great because I been getting a lot of lovely support from that, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys do to support my channel, support my making, support my designs, because that is what keeps Crochet Cakes in business, and I'm very excited that you guys like it and want to spend time with me, definitely. So let's see if this week I'll get to start on that thrift flip with the sleeves I had. Somebody did ask previously if I would do a thrift flip for sleeves. That should be very interested in that, so I think that'll be quite fun that I get to do something that someone explicitly asked for so soonish. Other than that, I'm going to keep working on some designs. I know that I haven't come out with any garment designs in a little bit, but I was a bit burnt out, and that only happens because my brain is just constantly battling with me if I can or cannot do something. But I have socks, very excitingly, socks for you guys. And also, for the people that are interested in the shepherdess socks, I am gonna sit this week and have that go review that, send it to my tech editor so she can review it and publish it hopefully by the end of this week. Of course, that all depends on my tech editor's availability. And the other thing is that for my Spanish viewers or my bilingual viewers, the Summer Breeze top, I will be publishing it on Wednesday of this week. I have it all written in the blog. I just want to make sure it makes sense and that the video tutorial has been translated to Spanish. So thank you so much for spending a little bit of crafty time with me. I hope that I was able to keep you company and be a little ray of sunshine in your day, and that you got to craft on something that sparks joy. Bye!